Surely the whole point of photography is the photograph. Why are you taking a certain photograph? What inspires? And all those crucial aspects. And in a sense, the camera surely should be the secondary thing. The camera is surely just the tool, just the thing that enables you to take that image. But because it enables you to take the image, obviously it's a very important part of the process. And I've always found it fascinating to use a range of cameras, from very high quality cameras to cheap cameras. And sometimes some of the cheaper, snappier cameras can be just as fun to use because they enable you to get the result you are looking for. The camera I'm talking about today is this little Canon AF32. This was launched, I think, in 1995. So this is an interesting time of the compact market. The compact camera had really, I would have said, gone mad in the 1980s, and they were not necessarily cheap cameras initially, the point and shoot cameras, especially from the manufacturers of the likes of Canon and Nikon. But by the time we got into the 1990s, all the major manufacturers were making cheaper cameras, but these cheap cameras were still about £30 to £40. They weren't really cheap. And I think this is where the Canon AF32 fits in. I haven't got a price when new, but I suspect it was under the £50 market. Sorry, under the £50 mark. It's an interesting spec. It has a 32mm lens, so in the aspect of 35mm, that is a pretty wide angle lens. It has got automatic focusing, and the only other two controls on this camera is a flash on and a flash off, which is very useful. If the flash just come up, you can just turn it off on there, and if you want fill flash, it's there. The camera takes the very convenient two AA batteries, so there we are, and they are nice and clear to put in. The automatic loading is very straightforward and I found to work well. We have a small green LED to indicate that the conditions are right to take a photograph, and we have a counter. We have nothing else. When the camera comes to wind back, you do have to, so when you get to the end of the film, you do have to actually press this little lever at the bottom to rewind the film. The film does not rewind automatically. And something that I found to be a very positive thing, because as you probably know, I process my own black and white film, and it can be a bit of a pain taking it out of the cassette. Now this we rewind and just leaves a tiny bit of film so you can pull the film out when loading it onto the reel. And that is it. It's a very simple, as the name suggests, point and shoot. However, how does it perform? Looking at the spec, the bog standard shutter speed it uses is 1/25 of a second, and I'm not quite sure if it changes the shutter speed. According to what I read online, it was 1/25 at yes, the aperture obviously I think does change. You've got 5.6, and I think it goes down to f11, but that's not a great range, and 5.6 would normally indicate a lens which is not the fastest of lenses. But let's see how it actually performed. It might not be fast, but was it sharp enough? I went into the woods near Dorchester, and I was very pleased with how it performed. The camera was, I found, to be sharp. The exposures, for example, the exposure of this tree, these two trees here, seemed to work well. The film had good contrast. As I said, the sharpness was fine. I was actually very surprised with how well the camera actually worked. Remember, this really is a cheap camera. This is cheap in build quality, it's cheap in quality. I think it was probably initially made for a very sort of snap happy market. The round angle is fantastic for groups, so I think it was very much for that sort of day-to-day party scene, as it was built as a happy, snappy camera. But there is no reason that I think why a happy, snappy camera can't be used to take slightly more artistic shots, and is a good thing just to carry around. I enjoyed using this camera, so if you do see one in a charity shop or online, or get given one, why not give it a go? Bye for now.